So when we have an equation that we cannot factor like we would a normal trinomial, we can use another method of factoring that's known as completing the square. So how do we complete the square? Well, we just need to get the equation in this format up here. X squared minus bx equals c. So let's go ahead and do that for our example here. So what we need to do is just move the c, which is our -5. We need to move that to the other side of the equation. So I'm just going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides. And that'll give us x squared minus 8x is equal to 5. And so how do we factor this now? Well, to complete the square, what you need to do is rewrite the equation, and then you need to add 1/2 of whatever b is squared to both sides, which is kind of hard to remember, but you just have to say it in your head a few times. 1/2 of your b squared. So we're going to add in parentheses here 1/2 of our b, which is 8, and then we're going to square it. And then what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side, right? So I'm just going to add the same thing over here. So what is 1/2 of 8 squared? Let's see, 4 squared is 16. So our new equation can be written like this: plus 16 is equal to 5 plus 16. So now this part over here is something we can factor. And what we can factor it into will just be x minus 4 squared, right? That's easily factorable. And if you'll notice, we just subtracted our 1/2 b. So we just wrote x negative 4, but you could also, if you wanted, just write out factors of 16. That'll give you 8 and multiply up to 16, whatever is easiest for you, but eventually you'll see that you can just subtract your 1/2 b and then square it. So over here we have what's 5 plus 16 is 21. And now to solve this, we just take the square root of both sides, right? Because the square root of anything squared is just what's inside the square root. So we can take the square root, and what that gives us is x minus 4 on this side is equal to the square root of 21, which we'll just leave it as a square root because it's a weird number. So our solution, if we just solve for x, will be, let's add 4 to both sides to get x by itself. And then our solution is x is equal to 4 plus the square root of 21. And so that is our solution for x and our solution for the equation. So in this example, we have an equation that we cannot solve by normal factoring, and we will need to complete the square. So what do we need to do? Our first step is to get it in x squared minus bx equals c form. What we'll need to do is get our x squared into a single quantity over here. And how do we do that? Well, we'll just divide everything by 3. So divide this side by 3, divide the other side by 3. So what's 3x divided by 3? X squared minus what's 12 divided by 3 times x minus 4x. And then we have equals 7 divided by 3. And now our next step for completing the square is to add 1/2 b squared to both sides. So I'll just rewrite this down here. X squared minus 4x plus 1/2 4 squared, right? Because 4 is our b value. And what we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. So 7/3 over here plus 1/2 b squared. 1/2 b squared. So what is 1/2 times 4 squared? That's 2. 2 squared is 4. So we can rewrite this as x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 7 divided by 3 plus 4. If we want to simplify this, we just need to multiply by the least common denominator, which is 3 over 3, right? We're just multiplying by 1, so that gives us 7/3 plus 12/3, and that gives us 19 over 3 just for simplifying this side of the equation. But anyway, for this side, we can factor it, actually. So factors of 4 that add up to -4 are -2 and -2. So remember, like the last example, if we want to just speed things up, we can just subtract our 1/2 b value and square it, and that is how we complete the square. So 1/2 b is 2 squared, right? So you just write x minus 1/2 b and then square it. And that is how you factor complete the square. So we have our x minus 2 squared is equal to 19 over 3. Let's take the square root of both sides to get rid of this square here and solve for x. Let's bring this up here. And once again, we can just leave this as a square root form because it'll give us a nasty number. But we have x minus 2 here, right? The square and square root cancel. And then we have the square root of 19 divided by 3. And make sure the whole fraction is in the square root. And then all we have to do is add 2 to both sides. And that'll give us x equals square root of 19 divided by 3 plus 2. So that is our solution for x and our solution for this example. So once again, for completing the square, you need to get the equation in the form x squared minus bx equal to c. And then at that point, once you have it in the form, you can add 1/2 b squared to both sides. And then at that point, you can write the left side, or the side that has the trinomial, you can write it as x minus b squared. And then just keep simplifying the other side. And then after that, you can take the square root of both sides to get rid of the square over here. And then after that, you just simplify the equation to get x by itself, and that will give you your solution.
Hey guys, if this video has been helpful to you, click the link in the description to get access to the complete Easy STEM Algebra 1 system, which includes a textbook, homework, and all of the course videos in order.